We are getting reports of a possible explosive device in the 2800 block of East Douglas. We do have a crew on the way. We will keep you posted as soon as we learn more information. Tens of millions of Americans hit the road this holiday weekend, with many of those returning home today. The good news, gas prices are at the lowest we've seen in more than a decade. Average gas prices in the U.S. are currently $2.41. But here in Wichita, you can see many fill-up stations. They're about 25 cents below that. Ken Kriz, a Regents Distinguished Professor of Public Finance at Wichita State, believes the average person in Kansas will see a benefit. That is, if the gas prices continue to go down.
If you're a typical consumer, what you're going to have is you're going to have more disposable income. Whenever prices of anything go down, you tend to get what economists call an income effect.
The professor says many economists are predicting gas prices will fall to $2 a gallon by the end of this year. He also says Wichita normally trends below the national average, meaning we could see prices here below $2 a gallon. Well, it is the last getaway weekend for the summer. Many Kansans hit the camping spots at Cheney State Park. Park officials say last year they saw 30,000 during the Labor Day weekend, and they were expecting the same this year. They didn't do any special preparation for the holiday weekend, but with their extra help leaving to go back to school, they tried to tackle their groundskeeping ahead of time.
We try to get ahead of the groundskeeping and stuff like that by the time that happens, but this year with the rain, the grass just kept growing, but we're able to accomplish that.
State park officials say if the weather continues to stay nice, officials expect some people to come back and camp into the winter season. Wichita police are investigating a shooting early Sunday morning that led to a short chase and the arrest of 4 men on weapons and drug charges. Here's video from the scene around 2:30 at Norma's Cafe on South Broadway. Police say officers were sitting in their patrol car nearby when they heard several gunshots. They then saw a car fleeing the scene. Officers pulled over the car a short while later. Police say someone inside threw a gun out of the car during that chase. Now back at the restaurant parking lot, police discovered a woman was shot in the arm. She was taken to St. Francis in critical condition. Police say it's common for crowds to gather at places like this diner that stay open all night once the bars close at 2 a.m.
And occasionally clubs would pop up, and we do business checks, try to work with them. And it's just kind of hit and miss, depending on what crowd's showing up after the clubs close. So some are very successful, have little problems, others may have a lot of problems.
Police say they found several shell casings at the scene and had reason to believe there could be more than one victim. But police say no one checked into the hospital with gunshot wounds in the hours immediately after the shooting. Police say they've arrested a man who shot and injured an officer yesterday in Las Vegas. That tops our look across America this Monday morning. The suspect opened fire from a semi-automatic gun at 2 officers who were stopped at a traffic light. One of them was shot in his hand, but the other officer managed to go after that suspect and catch him. Las Vegas started putting 2 officers in each squad car since another attack on police happened only on Friday. As many as 5,000 people are expected today at a public visitation, funeral, and procession for Fox Lake Lieutenant Joe Glinkowitz near Chicago. The married father of 4 boys was murdered Tuesday after calling in a report of 3 suspicious men. Backup officers found his body. An intensive manhunt has yielded no suspect in the officer's murder. He was a 30-year veteran of the Fox Lake Police Force who was known as G.I. Joe. Kim Davis stopped issuing all marriage licenses in Rowan County so she wouldn't have to grant them to same-sex couples. A federal judge ordered her to issue the licenses, and the Supreme Court declined to intervene. But Davis held firm, and the judge sent her to jail for contempt. Her husband visited her Sunday, saying she will not comply with the judge's order. Davis's attorney filed his appeal of the contempt ruling yesterday, calling it, quote, unlawful. Now to politics. There's a new number 2 for Donald Trump in New Hampshire. And for the first time, Hillary Clinton is not leading in that battleground state. Here's NBC's Tracy Potts with a look at the numbers from Washington.
Our new NBC Marist polls show Hillary Clinton's negative numbers up in both Iowa and New Hampshire. She's still leading Iowa. That's where she's campaigning today. But in New Hampshire, Senator Bernie Sanders has a 9-point lead, even if Vice President Biden joins the race.
Don't tell anybody. I think they're getting nervous. Don't tell anybody.
Donald Trump still has solid leads in both states. In New Hampshire, his closest competitor is now Ohio Governor John Kasich.
At the end of the day, they're going to want somebody who can actually get the job done.
Kasich, Carly Fiorina, Lindsey Graham, and Scott Walker will all be at a Labor Day picnic in New Hampshire today. Walker's on a motorcycle tour trying to drum up support. Marco Rubio and Rick Santorum will be in South Carolina today. But the big story remains Hillary Clinton and her dwindling lead.
This is one of the most important elections that we've had in a really long time.
Some supporters are concerned about her emails.
There's just a lot of unanswered questions right now.
I think it's been blown out of proportion.
It takes a lot of work to install a private server system in your basement.
Labor Day picnics and parades, the unofficial start to the campaign season. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
The vice president is marching in a Labor Day parade in his home state of Pennsylvania today. He has not yet announced whether he's running. Well, Apple will be making a big announcement this week, but don't expect the next mind-blowing product. Sources say it's more about the upgrades. We'll take a look at the speculations coming up. It is Labor Day, and at 6:42, we are having a panda party once again. The Madrid Zoo celebrated their baby panda's second birthday Saturday. The panda was born in captivity, and it shares the same birthday as his mother and father.
Wow.
The pandas feasted on an ice cake made with fruit, honey, and bamboo. Zookeepers say the pandas loved the sweet treat. Dozens of people stood by and watched, and of course, took pictures during that awesome celebration.
I'm so full and tired I had to eat.
Oh, man.
I burned all my calories licking my paw.
But you just can't get enough of them.
No, you really
can't.
can't. They're cute. You know, if you pull the bamboo out of it, the rest of the panda cake sounds all right.
I know.
It's panda
Good
party.
for them.
BYOP. Bring your own panda. Make sure you don't leave them out. And it's going to be a hot day. Bring your pandas inside today.
That's the most important lesson from today.
It
Bring
truly
those
is.
pandas
Bring your
inside.
pandas in. Do not make them suffer through the heat of the day. Pandas just do not do well. Temperatures get excess of 90 degrees.
Just got to get through today, it sounds like.
Today's going to be, well, but you know, like you said, people are out. They expect this, so it's going to be hot and just be sunscreen, bring in the pets.
Be
and the
prepared. Pandas and pets.
Yeah.
Got it? All right. Thanks so much, Leon. Well, that senior walking down the street might seem like an unsuspecting victim, but beware, that slow-moving granny might be part of a new class of seniors learning how to use their cane for fighting.
Go, Granny, go. It is 6:47 on a Monday morning. You're watching Kansas Today. Stay with us.
Got to keep thinking it'll cool off. It'll cool off. Thanks, Leon. Well, tens of millions of Americans hit the road this holiday weekend, with many of those returning home today. The good news, gas prices are at the lowest we've seen in more than a decade. Average gas prices in the U.S. are currently $2.41. But here in Wichita, you can see many fill-up stations. They're about 25 cents below that. Ken Kriz, a Regents Distinguished Professor of Public Finance at Wichita State University, believes the average person in Kansas will see a benefit. That is, if the gas prices continue to go down.
If you're a typical consumer, what you're going to have is you're going to have more disposable income. Whenever prices of anything go down, you tend to get what economists call an income effect.
Kriz says many economists are predicting gas prices will fall to $2 a gallon by the end of this year. He also says that Wichita normally trends below the national average, meaning we could see prices here below $2 a gallon. This Labor Day weekend brought a unique opportunity to network for families with something in common. Families Together is an organization that serves Kansas families who have kids with disabilities all across the state. This event, now in its third year, moved to the Sedgwick County Park for the first time. The annual free event allows families and children to connect with others through arts, crafts, and games.
Families who network with other families feel included and find ways to deal with issues around their challenges more effectively than if they just try to all figure it out on their own.
The organization helps about 2,500 to 2,700 families all across our state. Some Andover homeowners thought they won a fight 2 weeks ago over a zoning ordinance change at Teradyne Golf Course when a stalemate on the city council kept the ordinance from moving forward. But their fight isn't over just yet. Now the city attorney is making 3 recommendations for council members to talk about this week. The options are: first, the council to approve it; second, override the Planning Commission's decision; or third, send it back to the Planning Commission. If it's sent back to the Planning Commission, council members would need clarification of their recommendation. Now, if it doesn't go back, the city administrator worries there might be a repeat from the last meeting.
leaves us in a little bit of a quandary because we don't always anticipate or necessarily anticipate a tie, because usually the mayor can break the tie, but obviously in this situation you can't do that.
The city administrator says they won't take input from the community because they took comments at last week's meeting and the Planning Commission meeting in July. But the meeting is open to the public. The meeting on Tuesday, tomorrow, will begin at 7 o'clock at Andover City Hall. We will, of course, keep you updated on what happens during that meeting. Wichita police and fire departments are investigating a string of suspected arsons that happened overnight Friday. The first call came in around 2:40 on South Silver. Police say a vehicle caught on fire and the flames also damaged a house nearby. While officers in the fire department were investigating that fire, another call came in about 45 minutes later in the 2200 block of South Osage, where another 2 vehicles were set on fire.
Close proximity to each other, and about the time element there, we were thinking that they're definitely probably connected.
Fire crews were able to get all the vehicle fires under control. No one was hurt in either incident. The Kansas State Fair kicks off on Friday, and right now officials say so far the forecast for the event looks good. Leon tells us that as well. Now they report there's been a 10% increase in people showing cattle, and that's now the only thing that's growing.
We've also had record number year in sponsorships and also in what we call our corporate club, and that's companies that are bringing their employees to the Kansas State Fair to enjoy the events.
Always growing, that is. Now the Kansas State Fair starts Friday. It runs through September 20th. The Royals tried to avoid getting swept at home for the first time all season, hosting the White Sox yesterday. The Royals pitcher Johnny Cueto in danger of losing a career-worst 4th consecutive start. Top of the first bases loaded. Now he singles to center past a diving of Escobar. Now 3 runs come in to score. He lasted just 3 innings, allowing 7 hits and 5 earned runs. Back comes KC in the second. Salvador Perez rips a 2-out solo homer to right center off Eric Johnson, cutting the lead to 3-1. Now that wasn't enough. Chicago racking up the runs en route to a 7-5 win to complete the sweep. Here's Royals skipper Ned Yost on Cueto's performance.
It was a show for him, right from the get-go. He physically feels great. Shoulder feels good, elbow feels good, back, legs. He's just going through a stretch right now. You kind of liken it to a hitter that goes into a slump.
The Royals will play host to the Minnesota Twins tonight at Kauffman Stadium. It's just about 10 till 7 this Monday, Labor Day holiday. E-cigarettes have jumped in popularity among teenagers in recent years. Now, new research out this morning says some teens are using them to smoke marijuana right in front of their parents without anyone seeming to catch on. Erica Edwards looks at the latest trend.
Are these teenagers getting a hit of nicotine or secretly getting high?
Teens have actually discovered how to use e-cigarettes for vaping marijuana.
Researchers from Yale University School of Medicine had nearly 4,000 high school students in Connecticut fill out an anonymous survey. Nearly a third had tried e-cigarettes. Of those kids, 18% said they'd vaped marijuana.
I looked at the kids who said they had both used e-cigarettes and had experimented with cannabis in the past. The number went up even higher to around 27%.
Often they're smoking hash oil, a thick yellow resin extracted from marijuana plants. Hash oil tends to be more potent than the average joint, and there's little to no telltale scent. That means kids may be smoking pot around unsuspecting parents and teachers.
Their fear of getting caught has gone down, and that's a big deal. Once you remove that fear of getting punished, they're going to experiment more, and I'm not surprised one bit about it.
What's more, there's some evidence marijuana may disrupt normal development of the growing teenage brain. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
Okay, so from e-cigs to something a little bit nicer to focus on this morning. We have an amazing shot of the day this Labor Day.
This is a good one. This comes into us from Stephanie Elreich. She was out for a run. I would say fun run, but that's sometimes an oxymoron for some of us. She was running in St. Francis on Sunday, took this great picture.
Click the Report It tab on KSN.com to send us your pictures. We love to get them. Stay with us. We'll be right back. It's just about 6:55 this Labor Day Monday morning. Thanks for staying with us. Senior citizens in Florida are learning how to use an item they once thought of as a crutch, now as a weapon of self-defense. Christopher Brantley tells us all about cane foo.
It was President Theodore Roosevelt who said of foreign policy, speak softly and carry a big stick. You might not, however, expect that axiom to be adopted by a cane-toting 83-year-old grandmother.
You learn how to use it. That's not just for walking.
Alice Hayes started in kickboxing at Revolutionary Martial Arts in Venice and has since graduated to what they call extreme cane defense, or, if you will, cane foo.
Every time I come out of the grocery store, I use my peripheral vision because you never know who's going to be there.
Hayes says she's ready to defend herself. When we watched her take on 68-year-old Alfonso Mitchell, we were shocked to see how serious both of them were.
I'm going to try to my ability to put them down. 10 seconds or less.
Taking someone down with a cane, an item Carrie Hensey once viewed as a crutch.
I thought, oh, I'm using it because I can't move around. And now I see it as a weapon.
To understand the importance of this class, you have to talk to the instructor, Buck Buckmaster. For him, it's personal.
My mom was attacked here in Venice. She was working at a convenience store. She was 69 and she was beaten and robbed.
Buckmaster teaches his students how to use their cane to defend and, when necessary, attack. Here, Mitchell is defending himself against 5 others by swinging his cane about. While they're all very serious, the group has formed a tight bond and enjoy ribbing each other. For instance, a great laugh was had when Mitchell accidentally knocked himself about the head.
Martial arts is about not fighting. It's about getting out of the way, not getting yourself into that situation. But once you do, knowing that you have the confidence to protect yourself.
People who have lived through so much, learning how to defend their life if the moment arrives.
I love life, and I want to be around a while.
Revolutionary Martial Arts. They do these classes 3 times a week. Anyone is welcome who wants to join, of any age group. In Venice, Christopher Brantley, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Oh man, well, we need to get prepared for
That was
that. We need to
spontaneous.
start stretching, yes. But that is all the time we have for now. No matter what your plans are today, this holiday, Labor Day, we hope you have a great day. We'll see you back here at noon.
Today's show's coming up next. Have a good one, folks.